Welcome back. Dale Myers with Football Advanced. Today we're going to discuss cover 2 defense, why a lot of people like it, and we'll quickly look at just a couple of challenges that you run into if you are a defensive coordinator and you live by the cover 2 defense. So cover 2, in the previous video we talked about cover 3 and totally different than cover 2, but I'll include a description below because some of the things I'm going to say are going to be related to it. What are some reasons why coaches like the cover 2? One, because yes, it's 2D. So I'm in a pretty good position to defend this area of the field here. But it's also these corners. If you remember in our cover 3 video, a cover 3 corner on a snap, he bails. That's not normal for a cover 2 corner. In a cover 2 corner, these guys are normally about 5 yards off the ball and with their butt to the sideline, and they're just slightly outside of the receiver. These guys, most of the time, have the flats. They have the outside edge, so you can get late run support on outside runs. You're in a great position to defend the bubble screen, so this is a strength of cover 2. Also, cover 2, it can turn into 4 verts. So again, coaches coach it differently, but so let's say if we ran 4 verts here, this corner, remember he's outside. He is going to force this receiver inside toward the free safety. Same thing over here. This guy is going to force this guy inside towards that safety. The safety, on the other hand, is bailing at an angle to get over here. Here, this Sam here has his responsibility. The backer here is hook to curl, so he's going to hang out in this area right here. Remember, the corner has flat, but also deep responsibility. So the corner, he'll force him inside. Force number 1 receiver. By the way, in case you guys don't know, the first receiver from the outside the line, what is this called? The sideline. The sideline is called the number 1 receiver, the number 2. Go to the other side, the number 1, the number 2, and the third receiver, number 3 receiver. So the corner is going to keep force number 1 inside, get his eyes on number 2. All right. If number 2 goes vertical, he'll often, if nothing's coming his way, if there's no tailback swing, he'll kind of trail this guy here. So he wouldn't be quite in phase with him on an uphill shoulder. So that kind of, if you get 4 verts, you can play it pretty well out of cover 2. Now the problem, so again, let's kind of back it up a second. So we got, this is covered, the flats, the curl, safety over the top. Come back to the other side. We got safety getting over the top, hook to curl, Mike in the hole. Looks like everything's kind of opened up. I mean, pretty well covered, right? Except, of course, what if you had this right here? Good old double post. Double post. That's a doozy. So, back, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, I think it was the Tampa 2, Lovie Smith, he would drop this Mike backer, get some depth here, put this guy kind of like in a hole right there, occupying space. All right. Now, of course, that means you got now a hole opened up right here. So these guys, this Sam and Will, better be on their horses. Now, some of you coaches who run this are saying, Coach, I have no way I'd leave my backer in the box right there. I'd have this Will out a little further. Absolutely. It depends on how you play it. And that means you're probably a 2-read team. And we'll discuss, there's a variation of this called 2-read. And I actually like 2-read a whole lot better than I like cover 2. We'll do a separate video where we talk about it. But just so you know, 2-read means I read the number 2 receiver. And, you know, based on what he does, it tells me if I'm going to come down hard or if I'm going to stay vertical. So You probably don't have quite as much edge support, at least not as fast, but you can play the verticals better, which is important to me. So again, it's a good defense. It worked. A lot of coaches love cover two. Some weaknesses we already did. One, double post. So in my offense, we ran slants and hitches. We'd run hitches on one side, slants on the other. So this is a post, but slants are going to be very similar. All right, we're just gonna break it off a little earlier. Double slant in here. Well, basically we're just reading the will because the corner has outside leverage. He can't make a play, right? If he is doing his job with outside leverage, he's not going to make a play on this. The free safety's getting over top, so this will is in the bind. This is kind of easy money. If the will wants to stay under here, then we'll throw it behind him. If he wants to jump this, then we'll throw it behind him while Mike's getting depth. It's easy money, right? What are some other things that give the cover two problems? The old China call. Hitch by number one, corner out. This safety is trying to get over the top. He's trying. But a good quarterback can hit that window. A good quarterback can hit that window. What's something else that can hurt this defense? We said that this guy has a funnel number one inside. Well, what if, like in my offense, sometimes we'll give a more call, mandatory outside release. Now, if your guy is D1 and my guy isn't, you can probably force me inside. But if I got a stud out here and you got a stud, then that's going to be even match. If I got a stud and you got a serviceable guy, and I'm going to get my mandatory outside release, and now your cover two is dead in the water. My guys outside, your safety's in here trying to get over the top. Challenge. But again, I know you guys got some other adjustments for that, right? So again, this is a great defense. There are lots of different things we could do, some adjustments. I just wanted to show it to you very quickly. Great run support here. Depending on what you're doing with your safeties are normally lined up about 10 to 12 yards off the ball here. Linebackers at linebacker level. Do you want him in the box to defend against the run, or are you going to hit him outside the box because you're scared of it? All depends on what the offense is doing. Again, in my offense, this is a dude right here, so you might want to pull that wheel out there because this dude here hurt you. So different ways you can line up to it. Anyway, again, I know some of you guys that run cover two got a lot more to say. All right, leave in the comments below. Tell me what I should have put on here. And again, we're going to do another variation where we're going to talk about regular two versus two read and get into some quarters and all kinds of split field coverage, but that's a video for another day. Guys, to recap, advantages of the cover two defense. We got corners near the line of scrimmage. They can play aggressive down here, knowing that they do have deep safety support. And earlier I didn't really mention that these are half field safeties. Even though this guy's getting over the top, this might be a little aggressive line here. This safety has this half of the field. This other strong safety has that half of the field. So what I drew was correct in terms of this. These are some of the things you could use to exploit it, but I never made it clear that these are half field safeties. So again, my corners are near the line of scrimmage so they can get aggressive in the run game. Great on run support. Can attack the quick game. A lot of the quick hitches and stuff. Like, remember I showed this combination over here, the quick hitches. They can handle that pretty well. So it helps out in the quick game. And again, allows you to play the deep threat. The corners can be aggressive knowing that they have deep safety help. So again, it does take a lot of practice because against four verts, that corner, if he's being aggressive, might be a little bit behind that wide receiver. So you got to rep it. You have to rep it. Again, guys, cover two defense. Leave some comments below. What do you like? What don't you like? You offensive guys, what do you hurt the cover two with? I want to hear what you like against them. Yeah, and I run an option on them too. You know, that guy, we put him in the bind too. But anyway, Dale Myers with Football Advanced. We'll talk soon. Take care.